Guys like Julio, he's done it for such a long time. He knows what his process needs to be. AJ is as talented as he is. I believe he knows what his process has to be. And so for me, it's, just keep taking these team reps, keep getting ready. I feel really good. I'm really excited for this upcoming game. It's going to be a great test. They have 2 great edge rushers. So I'm really excited for, first game back.
Started looking at Cardinals guys that you'll see?
Yeah, I looked at Cardinals guys in July. And so I've watched a little bit, and obviously a familiar face in JJ. He's a very talented individual, and that's awesome for him. And then obviously Chandler Jones is very talented as well. Their defense is good. Today is not the Cardinals are not the focus today in practice. Focus is the corrections from the game, getting better and stuff, and working on those techniques and fundamentals that we all need to do on a daily basis. So, I've watched the Cardinals a little bit, but we'll dive probably more into that later this week.
As you kind of had more time recovering, did you watch more film this offseason than usual? And are there some things that you will benefit from as you try to get yourself healthy?
No, I usually, my process was the same. My whole focus in the offseason was to get as healthy as possible, fix some of those things that I had some deficiencies in my body that I wanted to fix, and obviously get my leg healthy. And so I achieved those goals, and I'm just really happy to be back, super grateful, and excited to go out for this practice.
Does not yet knowing who the starting right tackle is going to be affect you at all personally?
Not unless he blocks his guy into my legs. I think, as a unit, the 5 of us need to go out there and, know everyone's going to be on the same page. Whoever they decide to go with at right tackle, I think, is going to be the right man for the job. This team doesn't care about who's getting paid the most or who's, who the best 5 players are going to play that offensive line. And whoever is out there week 1, we're going to expect to hold up their end, and just like they expect me to hold up mine. And so, I think, does it affect me? Yeah, you want to know who's going to be out there, but at the same time, I can't be focused on other people's stuff. You know what I'm saying? I got to focus on my stuff. Although if I start, figuring out other people's problems, where do you go from there? I gotta, take care of my house first.
Kind of self-eval on the few snaps there that you got.
Yeah, it felt good. My whole goal was, could I play fast? Could I, go out and play a football game in front of people and feel no restrictions on my knee? And I went out and did that. I felt fantastic from a speed standpoint, a strength standpoint, and got to get off on the ball a couple times. Had some pass pro in a live situation, which was really nice. I felt good. I'm really excited for this first week.
You were referencing earlier some deficiencies. Is that anything significant?
No, just little things. I think someone told me once, the definition of an athlete is being able to compensate. How do you compensate for your body when you have a deficiency? And so when you have an injury, a lot of times people just focus on just that injury. What's wrong with how do I fix this leg? And I had an amazing team, Anna Hartman at Movement Rev, and she kind of painted the whole picture for me and said, okay, we're obviously going to get your knee healthy, but let's look at where your oblique strength is, where your back, these certain things, your mobility in your shoulders, what are those? How can we get those better as well? So when you come back, you're not the same person, you're better. So that's it was a total body process. It takes a lot to look this average.
Taylor, you look pretty excited to play Saturday night in a preseason game. You talked about the value of it. Were you kind of nudging them to say, hey, I need these reps in the preseason? Or
no.
Was it a good idea? Or how did it come about that you did play what you
played? Obviously, Raj and I haven't had a lot of snaps together, and I think they wanted to get me and Raj together and, work on the line and have some communication, some live bullets flying. I'm going to do whatever these coaches and these guys upstairs ask me to do to the best of my abilities, and that's what they said, hey, we want to get you out there for a couple snaps, and, it's an exciting time. There's a couple ways you can look at it, and you could be like, oh, man, I'd rather just play the first game, but, I thought it was cool to be out there. I love preseason. I love preseason, going in there and kind of tuning it up, but I also love sitting there watching the boys, you got 90, however many guys in this team that are trying to make the team, and they all can't. So to be able to have a front row seat at an NFL football game in a uniform and watch these guys and cheer these guys on, I love the preseason. It's a fun time for me, and watch those guys battle for not only a job here but on 31 other teams.
That when Logan threw the touchdown in the fourth quarter to give you guys the lead, the sideline went nuts.
Yeah.
It might have been the biggest celebration I've seen from the sideline, including some regular season games at times. Is this team closer than some teams in the past have been?
I mean,
Where's that come from?
I think, yeah, the short answer is yes. I think we have a really close locker room. I think that guys that have come from other teams have said it's a very different locker room. How, there are guys have their friend groups and everything, but everyone gets along with everybody. I hang out with the wide receivers. I'll go talk to Bud Dupree quite a bit. Talk to other defensive players. You kind of talk to everyone and hang out with everyone. It seems like a really close team, and it's cool because when you're in college, all these college coaches say, hey, when you get to the NFL, like these guys have families and. They come here, they do their work, and they go home. And it seems like a very college-like atmosphere in that locker room where guys are really close. And, it's cool to see guys have success in the field, and then the guys that aren't playing, cheer them on. That's how a team should be.
Did you ever go back and
Paul,
watch-
you got dummied there, dude. He kind of talked over you. He muscled you out.
Did you ever go back and watch the play you were injured on, or did you just try to distance yourself as far from it as you
No,
could?
I mean, it's not. I mean, it was a screen. It's one of the rules. It's one of the rules. Almost got into it too much. I ran out to the left, and I went to go get a corner and planted on it and just popped and rolled out. I mean, it didn't hurt. It wasn't like excruciating pain thing. It was a feeling I've never felt before. Like I heard a pop. My leg got super warm. And I'm kind of just laying there, and Dr. Petty came out. And this did the worst thing possible. I go, hey, is it my ACL? And he goes, oh, I'm not saying anything right now. And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously it's my ACL. So you kind of knew right then and there. And, it's easy to look back on it now and joke. And but, man, what an emotional time that was. It was such a horrible feeling. Walking, I know my wife and kids were in the suite, and I go up in the elevator, and I go and see them. And my daughter's just excited to see me. I'm like borderline tears. And it's been a cool process becoming here. And then going to that preseason game, knowing I'm going to get my first snaps, I went over, same exact place I got hurt, kind of just laid there and really appreciated the full circle. So it's going to be cool to be back out there week 1.
You were really into the challenge. Was that the thrill of him getting the flag down before the next snap, or just him?
You talking about stretch? Got to follow up a guy like Vrabes. I think I've jokingly called Stretch Vrabes' secretary before in the past, and I know it was a cool opportunity. It was fun to be out there and Stretch running the show, letting them hang, throw that red flag out there, and it was just fun, man. I enjoyed watching and participating in the football game from the sidelines, even when I was out. That was just a fun time for everybody.
You kind of
You worked with them, Dylan Raiders.
Yeah.
And he's going through his struggles, playing both positions. What's some of the things that you, as kind of like the OG of that room, what were some of the things that you say to him?
OG, I like that. That's sweet. I don't know, man. Like this whole thing is hard. Like it's hard to go from college to the NFL, have that confidence. Guys are faster. Guys are stronger. They play at better pad level. It's a different world. I think I said this in my first press conference. My other one is, I think Dylan's had a better camp than I did my rookie year, and I think he's going to be all right. We all have stuff to work on. And I think that the conversations between me and Dylan are going to stay between me and Dylan. But I'm rooting for the guy. I want him to be as successful as he can possibly be in this league.
Taylor, it's the 8th year, I guess, for you, and you talk about this team being close. What's this week like, where you have you got a 90-man roster, you can be down to 53, and guys you've worked with here over the last couple of months going to be heading out the door. How do you deal with that, and what advice do you give guys you've worked with?
Yeah, it just sucks, man. I mean, you want everybody's dream to come true of playing in the NFL, and the reality is it's not gonna happen. And so your heart aches for those guys. I remember my rookie year watching guys get cut, and just it's such a weird feeling to watch these guys who you've worked with for a few weeks and then kind of walk out the door. You don't know if you're going to see them again. And so, for any of those guys that inevitably do get cut, it's it's important to keep the dream alive for as long as you possibly can. If this is something they're truly passionate about, to keep going after it, and to learn from whatever they didn't do the first time. I think we have a lot of talented guys in this locker room, more talented than I've ever, in my 8 years here, I've ever been a part of. And I think John's had a lot of hard decisions to make, and he's going to do what's best for this team. And I just hope that the guys he do pick realize that we're trying to do something special here, and don't take any days for granted.
Given what you guys went through last year with COVID, as the last week felt familiar, like everybody kind of
Yeah, it
knows
felt
how to
like,
deal
it felt
with?
like 2020 for sure. But, you know, got to do what you can. I mean, there's things you can control and there's things you can't control, and these are the types of things you just can't control. So for me, it's focus on what you can. It's going out to practice, taking care of all my stuff on and off the field, and getting ready to play week 1 against the Cardinals.
Total flyer. I know everybody's got their own thing. Ty's stance, he's got that back leg further back. I'm wondering if that's anything you guys noticed going on him for.
No, I've never noticed Ty's back leg back. I'll have a peek. I'll make sure and have a peek at that. You know, Ty's an athletic guy. I'm sure he's got a rhyme or reason for that.
Taylor, you mentioned the most talented roster. What about the anticipation maybe outside the building for this season? Does it feel any different to you, more intense to you in terms of the fan base, the city, anticipating the season?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure that this city is really excited for this team. You know, I'm not focused on that right now. I'm not focused on what other people outside this building think, whether it's good or bad. We know throughout the ebbs and flows of the season, you know, one week you're a hero, the next week you're the enemy, and that's just kind of how it works. So for us to stay consistent and just kind of focus on what we're doing here is the most important thing. So I hope fans are excited. I'm excited. But at the same time, we got to control what we can control, and that's today's practice, which is, I believe, in 30 minutes. So we'll take one more.
What would it mean to have that stadium filled with Titans fans, you know, maybe more intense home field advantage than you've had a lot of weeks?
Yeah, no, I think you go back to 2014, 2015, and how, you know, some weeks we'd be in silent cadence when we were at home, and I hope that's not the case this year. I hope fans are really excited to come watch us play. I think a year of not having any opportunity at all to come see us play, I hope that place is packed week 1. I hope people are loud. I hope people are excited. You know, we've being here since 14 and being a part of like a culture change type thing. It's, you know, very rare to be on a team this long, and very rare to, you know, kind of help that direction of culture change. And I'm really proud of that. And I'm not saying it's me. I'm just saying, like, it's very cool to be a part of a team that has gone from the bottom and is slowly moving their way up. And I hope fans here take that seriously and realize that, you know, we're doing the best we can to make them proud and everybody in this franchise proud. Thanks, guys.